Hey everybody, my name is Taylor Glenn and this is my channel Taylor Tries, where I try new things and I try to teach you new things. And today I'm going to teach you how to do Mills mess. In this tutorial, I'm going to break down the trick step by step, as well as give you some tips and advice for things that you might be doing wrong. There's also an extended version of this tutorial available exclusively for members of my Otter Club over on Patreon. That includes some additional content covering some cool stylistic choices that you might make with Mills mess. If you want to join the Otter Club, you can get immediate access to that in addition to all sorts of other exclusive content and goods. So go check that out. There's a link in the description. For those of you who are already a member of the Otter Club, thank you so much. You make it possible for me to keep making this content for everybody. All right, back to the pattern. Mills mess is an awesome trick. It is a staple for every juggler, and it's also the first time that a lot of jugglers get this feeling in their brain where it starts to hurt really bad because it's confusing and like a puzzle. It's awesome. Why is it called Mills mess? Well, it's named after a juggler named Steve Mills, who is credited with discovering the trick back in the 70s. Since then, it has risen to become one of the most popular tricks, and for good reason. It's awesome. Let's take a look at what's actually happening in Mills mess. Mills mess is a trick consisting of outside throws, where the balls almost look like they're chasing each other, creating a sort of figure 8-like pattern. I've heard Mills mess described in a bunch of different ways. Some people say it's a reverse cascade with underhand throws. Some people describe it as the trick windmill going back and forth. No matter how you describe it, what it comes down to is Mills mess is composed of 3 distinct throws. And this is true no matter how many juggling balls you have. 4-ball Mills mess is the same way. 5-ball, 6-ball Mills, they all have these same 3 throws. There is a crossed arm over the top throw, an uncrossed reverse throw, and an underarm throw. So we've got 1, 2, 3. And then it just repeats on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now don't worry, we're gonna break those throws down, but just so you kind of have an idea of what's going on. The other thing I want you to pay attention to is the fact that this trick is technically a sight swap 3. If you're not familiar with sight swap, basically all that means is that the balls are just going right, left, right, left, right, left, like a normal juggling pattern. It's just that you're throwing them differently. It's still right, left, right, left. Remember that. It'll come in handy when we get going. As always, before we jump into how to do Mills mess, you have to know what you should already know. Yeah, luckily you don't have to know a lot of tricks to do Mills mess, but the ones that I do recommend, obviously, are the 3-ball cascade. I also recommend that you know the reverse cascade, which I cover in another tutorial. There's a link in the description on that. Other than that, I do recommend learning the rest of the tricks that I have in that beginner tutorial because it will get you comfortable with just throwing balls in a different way than you're used to. If you're not already familiar with some of those other tricks, you may not be fully ready to jump into Mills mess yet. Go learn those tricks and then you can come back. If you're feeling ready, let's get messy. You know I had to make that joke somewhere. We got it out of the way. Let's keep going. So as I mentioned before, there are 3 distinct throws in the Mills mess pattern. I want to teach you how to do each one separately before we put them all together. So the first one, I want you to start with your arms crossed, but have one ball on the top hand. From here, you're going to want to throw the ball up and have it end in the center of your body. This will be true for every throw that we work on. Every one of them should end in the center of your body. That's how you get Mills mess to look good. As this ball is in the air, we're going to uncross our arms and switch so that the other hand ends on top and catches that ball. Then you'll do it on the other side. We throw it up, we uncross, we cross again and catch it on top with the other hand. Practice this a few times. Now when you do this, you want the ball to create a figure 8 pattern. So every ball that we throw, we're going to want to mimic that figure 8 path, which is why we have them end in the center of our body. So work on this back and forth, try to get it smooth and comfortable. This is exactly what Mills mess will feel like. We're just going to add 2 more balls. Okay, so that is throw number 1. Now let's work on throw number 2. Throw number 2 is going to start from your hands open, just like you would a normal juggling pattern. And you're going to throw a reverse cascade type throw towards the center of your body. When you do that, you're going to cross this arm over the top of the other arm, catch that ball with the hand underneath. Then we're going to uncross and do the same thing back. Again, remember that figure 8 trail. Try to follow that. Practice this over and over again until you feel pretty comfortable with this motion. That is throw number 2. Let's do throw number 3. Throw number 3 is really basic. It's just an under the arm throw. I refer to this ball often as the U ball because it tends to create a sort of U-type shape when people are doing it slightly incorrectly. So we start with our hands open and we're gonna cross the ball under the other arm and throw it up and then uncross and catch. So what you might have a tendency to do with this is throw the ball straight up. This is why I call it the U ball, because people do it in a way that creates a U. This is fine when you're learning. It's not a big deal, but it's not gonna make the trick look as good as it can. What I encourage you to do instead is focus on bringing that ball in a little bit when you throw it so that it ends in the center of your body. Once you're feeling good with that third throw, let's start putting them together. All right, we've upgraded to 2 balls. Let's combine throws 1 and 2. So we're gonna start with our arms crossed. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with 1, which was that over the top cross arm throw, and then we're gonna uncross immediately and throw number 2. Then we're gonna catch ball number 1 and catch ball number 2 down in that bottom hand. So whichever hand you started with on top should end on bottom. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You have to practice this on both sides. Mills mess is a 2-sided trick. Don't just do this and then do it again. No, both sides. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Try to keep in mind aiming the balls for the center of your body. Catch the ball in the center of your body and sort of swoop it down to get ready for the next throw. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Notice that the balls aren't switching position. When I throw number 1, it is always the pink ball. When I throw number 2, it's always the green ball. This is the joy of Mills mess. The throws always are distinct. They're always the same throws. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Pink, green, pink, green, pink, green, pink, green. This might take a little getting used to, but work on it until you have it solid. It's really gonna help you with the third ball. Once you're feeling good with that, let's pick up ball number 3. So we're gonna start with 2 balls on top, and you're gonna throw the first 2 throws just like normal. 1, 2, but then right after you catch that first ball, you're gonna throw the next ball underneath. So it should go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. When you catch that third ball, I want you to catch it in the hand that's on top. Don't catch it in the hand that's underneath. That's gonna be tempting to do, but since this is gonna be the next ball you're gonna throw, I want you to catch it in that hand, just to get used to that muscle memory. So we're here, 1, 2, 3, catch. One, 2, 3, catch. From here, you're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, catch. 1, 2, 3, catch. 1, 2, 3, catch. One, 2, 3, catch. 1, 2, 3, catch. Another helpful way to think of those 3 throws is cross, open, under. Cross, open, under. Cross, open, under. All right, I had to move the camera because the sun's setting. That's how long I've been out here. Once you're feeling comfortable with each side independently, you can combine the 2 without stopping. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's go over some things that you might be having a hard time with or doing incorrectly. Mills mess is a very fluid visual trick. Even though that's the case, I see a lot of people that do this trick in a very choppy, kind of ugly way. You might be doing it like this, where your throws are going all over the place and there's no cohesive pattern. Every ball, regardless of where it's being thrown from, should look like a figure 8. It should follow that pattern. So really emphasize having every ball come from the outside and land right in the middle of your body. That's the goal of Mills Mess. The other thing you might be doing is making that underhand throw create a U shape. Notice how throws 1 and 2 are going in that arced pattern, but then the third one's going straight up. This is super common. It's really hard to get that throw to come in if you're not used to it, but focus on arcing that underhand throw towards the middle of your body so that it ends in the same place as the other 2. Lastly, a super common mistake is to throw ball number 2 on the inside of ball number 1 rather than making it a reverse cascade throw. Watch the green ball. Notice how it's going on the inside? Every ball that you throw in Mills Mess should be coming from the outside of the other ball. I see this all the time. A lot of people think they're doing Mills Mess, but they're actually doing this weird in-between hybrid. If this is something that you do, I recommend breaking it down again with 2 balls. When you're going 1, 2, make sure that 2 is on the outside of 1. So don't go 1, 2. No, 1, 2. Yes. All right, patrons, this is just for you. You are my bread and butter. You are my best friends. Welcome to this exclusive part of the tutorial. This is basically for once you feel like you've gotten the pattern of Mills Mess down, I want to show you some really fun sort of, not variations per se, but stylistic things you can do with Mills Mess to add to your repertoire and really make it even more fun of a pattern. So we've got our classic Mills Mess, right? Once you've gotten it smooth, this is what it'll look like. But the cool thing is because there are 3 distinct throws, you can play around with how you throw them to create totally different looks. The most easy stylistic variation that I think there is to throw that third ball, throw number 3 or the U ball, higher than the rest of the pattern. When we do that, there will be a slight pause. You don't want to throw the next ball until that blue ball is coming down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I really like doing this. I think it's a really fun way to add variety to Mills Mess. So you can combine it with the regular pattern to create almost a flowy dance thing. We can apply that same technique to any of the other balls. The next easy one, in my opinion, would be ball number 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Don't drop though. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we can do it to ball number 2. This one's really fun to rock your body with. So those are 3 ways that you can incorporate different heights into Mills Mess. The last stylistic thing I want to talk about with Mills Mess is how far up you're crossing on your arms. Normally you're going to have your arms crossed about in the middle of your forearm. But if we extend even more or we shorten that distance, we can create different effects. If we bring our hands down crossing more at our wrists, it's going to create a much smaller, faster Mills Mess. Or we can do the opposite and cross our arms a lot and create a very wide pattern that stretches horizontally. We can move side to side with it. So those are some of the stylistic choices you can make while doing Mills Mess. I'm happy to have given you this little bonus just for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to message me over on the Discord or on Patreon itself. Thanks again, you guys rock. Oh, it's a gopher. There's a gopher on the ground. Ah! I wish I could show you. It's exciting. Hi! Oh, I scared him. You wanna learn Mills Mess too? I can teach you. I can teach anybody.